Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Madrid Sevens. This one is a special one, but for one of these sides, it is going to be their last game on the Sevens circuit for quite some time anyway. Of course, they will be down to the Challenger Series. We've got 4 matches of teams going head-to-head. This first one is a massive one as it involves 2 sides that were already on the circuit, that being USA as well as Samoa, and both of these teams, they have more than enough potential of not just being in the circuit, but also of being competitive. Looking through at the USA starting lineup for this contest, it is going to be Fuala'au. Also, Biza is there, Kevin Williams, Perry Baker, Aaron Cummings, Lucas DeCamp, and Steve Thomasina. World-class side. They've had their moments throughout the season. It was only due to Great Britain's success near the end of the regular season that we actually saw the USA drop outside of that top 8. For the Samoans, it is Sepulona Fiau, Va'a Pilomaleko, Motu Opitai, Steve Onisai, Eliza Peta Alafipo, Daniel Patalasio, and Taunu'u Naulivai. Now, I should mention, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people do not realize the situation and the stipulation of this game. A lot of people thought after Samoa lost all of their group stage fixtures that they were out of the competition. That is not the case. This is the knockout game that will either take the Samoans out of the competition or they will stay in it. USA, they were able to get themselves 3 wins from 3 throughout their group stage fixtures, so a much better performance early on, but it would all be for nothing if the Samoans do pull off the upset here. Hey, Hamish in chat says, bystander, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well and hope you are excited for this matchup. I'll be honest, I've been dreading this match because I know that it means that one of these top sides is going to be not there for next season. Now, there's an exciting one just around the corner that has taken place straight after this game. That is Kenya versus Germany. One of those sides going to be back onto the circuit or onto the circuit for the first time in the case of the German side. But this one, same with Canada versus Spain. It means that one of the sides who are already in will then be missing out. But in terms of the odds of this contest, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of who comes in as favourite, the USA are clean favourites above at the moment in terms of the way that it currently sits. We have got their high Hamish, thanks for all the commentary, but Samoa are $6.50 underdogs. I have just seen there on the TAB, which means that they are not given much of a chance in this contest. Now, they believe that Samoa are going to lose this by about 14. That is somewhere around the margin. Well, so one of these teams won't feature in the next 7 circuit. Who replaces? So pretty much there are 4 playoff games, right? Whoever wins this game goes through. The other side goes down to the Challenger Series. The next game that has taken place, which one team from each of these 3 next games will go through, right? So Germany versus Kenya, one of those 2 sides will make their way onto the circuit. Uruguay versus Chile, one of those 2 sides. And then also the last playoff game is Canada versus Spain. One of those 2 sides will remain, and the other will be down to the Challenger Series. Morning, Kiwi lads. Let's go Samoa. Good luck, Uso. CS Blues, Nate and Hamish. Are both these teams going to the Olympics? They also have to compete next month. I know that Samoa have qualified. I'm not too sure about the USA at this point, but I believe they are also qualified for the Olympic Games. But this is the qualifier playoff final, ladies and gentlemen. Like I mentioned, there are 4 games that are taking place, and 4 teams will be going through. This is where dreams are made, but like they've just mentioned, this is where nightmares may begin for sides as well. I do not want to see either of these sides lose their spot. I'll be honest, we've had some great games on this channel that we have covered for USA and Samoa all throughout this year. You can see the passion in both of the sides. And when you look through the starting lineups, there is just talent everywhere in these 2 sides. Once again, listing the USA, Fuala'au, Biza, Kevin Williams, Perry Baker, also Aaron Cummings, Lucas DeCamp, and Steve Thomasina. Then for the Samoans, it is Des Supalona Fiau, Va'a Pilomaleko, Motu Opitai, Steve Onisai, Eliza Peta Alofipo, Daniel Patalasio, and Taunu'u Naulivai. And hi all and Hamish, says a Robert. There's a big difference between these 2 sides. I should mention Tuna Tuitama is not going to be playing in this game due to an injury. Baker, the speedster, yeah, he certainly has pace. Yes, Perry Baker. He's got experience as well, and that is something that they've got the benefit of having him, Madison Hughes, Kevin Williams, Thomasine. There's a lot of guys who, yes, they haven't been in a similar situation to this, but they've been in finals before. They've been in playoff games. When do the Blitzboks play? They have already played. They had their game up against the Irish, which they did get defeated in. So now, of the last 6 games that the Blitzboks have played Ireland, they have lost 5. But it meant that Blitzboks finished 6th in the competition. Ireland finished 5th. And, of course, the semi-finalists going to be playing later on tonight. But the first one up against the Germans, 40 points to 19 in favour of the USA. That was their largest winning margin that they have had today. The largest losing margin that the Samoans have had was 31-0. The Brazilian girls on fire. Taria de Silva Costa, 2 quicks. Yeah, she's got pure pace, that is for sure. For the Brazilians, shame. Feel sad for these two teams, big pressure. They're both enjoyable to watch. And that's the thing, like, I honestly feel like, yes, both of them are in a little bit of a trickier patch at the moment, but I could see them both being competitive next year if they're on the circuit. And it's all going to come down to just this game. Of course, if Samoa had done a little bit better, then we would have seen maybe them facing someone like a Chile or a Germany rather than facing 2 top sides in this case. But now we're back underway, ladies and gentlemen. Like they've just said, the series is about to lose a giant. Which one of these sides can hang on? That's going to be dropped straight away by the Samoans, looking like they're going to continue from where they left off in their other games. But the USA are in possession now, going away to the right-hand side, out wide to Perry Baker. Great low tackle made by, I believe it was Alofipo, not good enough. I need to put Rinsa Colby Grant into the 7 squad to make the Olympic gold medal now, going out wide. Step there for Beza, and he will score the first try of the contest. The USA already on the board. 30 seconds gone, 5 points to 0 in favour of the US. I feel like no matter who scores, like as much as normally we are excited to see tries being scored, right? This game, it just seems like every time someone scores, it's heartbreak for the other side. You can almost see, I don't know whether or not that's just the way that he runs. Boys almost looked like he had tears in his eyes when he was finishing that one. But that kick has gone over. Well, watched by the referee, who was looking straight into the sun to be able to see it. But 7-0 in favour of the USA. Brilliant start to this contest. And currently, with 6 minutes remaining in the first half, see how it does end up going. Let's hope we make it into the Olympics. That is true. They have not actually qualified yet. They lost their games to Kenya. So earlier on in the qualification process, Kenya got to qualify as the African nation. Now, South Africa have to qualify through the repechage. Nicely taken by the Samoans. Now they have got the position. Playing halfback was Nauli Vaya. Got a nice amount of size to him when he plays half. Trying to get over the ball and win the turnover. I believe there should be a penalty in favour of the Samoans there, but it is going to be the USA who receive the penalty. Fuala'au now going out wide into the hands of Lucas Acamp. It's another try for the USA. And it's going to go from bad to worse. Now, I don't want to say anything bad about certain circumstances in this game, but I believe Samoa are not going to get any help from any officials throughout this contest. This is a depressing playoff. Both teams deserve to be involved next year. US decent. Put US eyes on the sport. Samoa, always a pleasure to watch. Says bystander. Yeah, it's just a shame that it's come to both of these sides playing off, but I guess that is the way that the Seventh Circuit is set up. They've got the opportunity of 4 new sides each year to move on to the circuit. But at the same time, you're losing 4 massive sides. It's kind of the same feeling that we got when Kenya got knocked out of the circuit when they went to 12 teams rather than 16. Of course, next game, they're going to have the opportunity to earn their spot back, but that kick is missed, and the score now 12-0 in favour of the US. US, say US. Says Blues note. That one's going to be kicked off short. Hasn't travelled the 10 metres there for the USA. So now Samoa will have themselves the ball on the halfway line. They need a try. And they need one soon. Like I mentioned in my preview, I just want this game to be a draw and they somehow go, okay, these sides both deserve to be there. But that will not be the case. That is not how this one is going to work. You know, when you think about it, how much funding are these two sides going to lose by being on the Challenger Series? How many jobs are going to be lost for these two teams? I could understand if it was maybe the bottom 2 on the overall standings get dropped down and the top two sides of the Challenger Series progress, or maybe they have a mini Challenger Series tournament, and then that determines who goes through. It's nuts that one of these teams won't be in the main series next season. It is, because they both thoroughly deserve to be there. Yes, Samoa are in a tricky patch at the moment, but they can still beat any given side on any given day. Massive fend from the Olivia. He is through. He's scored another try, and now we're in the situation this could mean that the USA are going to miss out. I don't know what to do in this game, I'll be honest. Us ever again the Challenger Series. Oh, are we back in the top tournament next year? I don't understand the system. They are in the top tournament for next year, as they were in the top 8 going into this round. They were 7th, so they actually only just made it in, but they are fine. The South Africans, Olivia scores the try there for the Samoans. Will be a confidence booster. That kick has gone over, and that is now going to make the score 7 points to 12. You look at the USA as well. We talk about the funding side of things. Of course, Samoa, they would probably take a huge backward step in their Rugby Sevens if they were to go back to the Challenger Series. You look at someone like a USA who are bound to host the 2031 Rugby World Cup. One of the reasons that rugby in the US has some sort of following and some sort of coverage is because of this US Sevens side. If they do get knocked out, oh, here goes Perry Baker, he's away, and it's going to be another try here for the USA. We've hardly seen Va'a Pilomaliko throughout this game at the moment. Seems like Samoa just too much to have to make up. Technically, US and Samoa together, says Robert. And I was good as long as we are there to get the gold medal. That's all that counts, says Gary. Yeah, of course, they'll have a chance next year. This year, they haven't quite been able to do so. Like I mentioned, finishing 7th on the overall standings, not exactly where you expect for a side that pride themselves on the green and gold medal. That one was nicely put down by Perry Baker. And the kick is good. Yes, he did get it. Looks like Perry Baker getting a little bit of attention at the moment, getting some water on the back, trying to keep him nice and cool. 1 minute remaining in the first half. Samoa are down at the moment by 2 tries. Fula'au. The ball up high. That's going to be nicely claimed there for Steve Thomasin. Lucas Lecamp come back across here to the right-hand side. Tomorrow is the United States territory. That's going to be another try for Perry Baker. I think this one's over for Samoa here. With 3 tries as the deficit. So are they taking? Top 8 from Pool B and top 8 from Pool A. Saying the challenge next year. I'm confused how they've done this. So pretty much it's 2 separate tournaments that are happening, if that makes sense. So at this stage, like the top 8 are playing each other for the overall title. These sides are playing each other for the Challenger Series, which is pretty much to try and keep their spot on the circuit, where they have the top 4 sides from the Challenger Series, top or bottom 4 from the regular season. They go head-to-head in these playoff games now. So in 3 games' time, we will know exactly who is going to be the 12 for next year. That's a good strike from the sideline. Got the kick over as well. And the score is 26 points to 7 in favour of the USA. I'll tell you what, I'm getting sick of seeing all this Antoine Dupont hype on social media. People saying he's the greatest to ever play. Sure, he's good. Even I'll admit that. But call the Jets, everyone. I mean, he's certainly the best player currently in terms of what he's been able to do throughout the last 12 months. That man has helped France get through to a title, or at least a final in this case. Won it for Toulouse. France have been doing pretty well. Yes, you could say that they didn't win the Six Nations. They didn't win the World Cup, but he's certainly still, like, you have to admire what he's able to do. And even in the Sevens game, he's just immaculate in the breakdown. Now, Salah dummy, South Africa, of course, they are not in this contest. They are confirmed in the top 8, but one of these sides will be able to play South Africa next year. The other will not. Perry Baker flying away, 293 tries, catching up to Norton. Currently, the Samoans, they will need another try before the end of this first half if they want a really good chance. There is a knock-on the ground, and that is the end of the first half. 26 points to 7. So we're staying on 12 teams. I wish they kept the 16. I do too. I feel like there are too many sides that are right on the verge of making it, whether that's someone like, we've got to remember, not that long ago, Japan were a side that were in contention. You know, you look at someone like an Uruguay or a Kenya, Germany. They've all got a good chance of making it through to like decent competitive games, and I still feel like they've done it completely wrong. It should be the bottom two sides or the bottom side in the overall rankings. Then they drop down and they should have the sides from below. They get the opportunity to play off in a mini tournament, or you base it off who's got the most points during the regular season, and then they get promoted, rather than the opportunity of 4 sides missing out who are already on the circuit. I miss Kenya on the circuit. I have too. They've got their game up against Germany though. And it is interesting that it all comes down to one game. Kenya had a great group stage. They were able to beat the Samoans in that opening contest. That could have been the difference for Samoa. They needed to start getting themselves some wins, but they haven't been able to as of yet. But yeah, Kenya have to win that game up against Germany, or else they too will miss out on the opportunity of making their way through. Second half just around the corner, and then of course we have got that game taking place between Germany as well as Kenya. Then there is Uruguay versus Chile, so we're going to see a little bit of South American flair on the Sevens circuit alongside Argentina for next season. And then we have got the last game, Spain versus Canada. One of those two sides who are already on the circuit will also be making their way from the competition. Going to be a lot that changes, and like I mentioned, there are going to be a lot of jobs lost. There's going to be a lot of fundings cut, and there's going to be a lot of heartbreak throughout the next little while. Now, Samoa, they are down by 3 tries at the moment. They would need 3 converted tries to get them back into this game. Alofipo, we haven't even seen Va'a Pilomaleko touch the ball. And that one's going to be slapped back onto the side of the Samoans. I feel like Brian Lima has to have fired these boys up at halftime or something, because they have to try and get back into it. I'd love to see the game go to golden point, just for the sake of seeing one last big thrill between these two sides on their last hurrah for one of them. Now, wide cut-out pass for the Samoans. Va'a Pilomaleko, great stepping from him. He's touched the ball and now he's scored a try. And the Samoans going to be trying to get back into this game. It is going to be an absolute mountain to climb. Sevens without Samoa and Kenya hits different. Kenya needs to finish Germany. Sure, the lads will do so. Well, we'd think so, right? But it's just very hard to tell. Because all it takes, theoretically, right? USA, this is, in my opinion, how silly the layout of this competition is in terms of the games that take place for the knockouts. USA won all 3 of their games. So I honestly feel like the top 2 sides at least should have automatically qualified. And then you have the bottom 4 playing off. Like, I know it complicates things, but the USA should not be in a position where they've won 3 games in their group stage and now they still have to try and beat a side to be able to go through. Both sides going up for that ball, and the penalty goes the way of the USA. Or they're going to check this one to see whether or not there is a yellow card. This format is all wrong. Kenya, Germany, Chile, and Uruguay. I should have played against the bottom 4 sides. Next year's circuit won't be the same without Samoa, says Johan. Exactly right. Like, there's... And the thing is, we might lose Canada, we might lose Spain later on tonight. Okay, this is going to be a yellow card for one of the Samoans, just as they were getting back in. I usually support Samoa, but because of circumstance, I don't know who to support now. I agree, if you go 3-0 in a group, shouldn't be single game elimination, just silly, says Greg. And I guess, you know, it's the first year of them doing it, so there are going to be things that need to be ironed out. But at the same time, it isn't just, oh, whoops, our bad, we've made a mistake. It's going to be sides losing their, like, team for the sake of going, oh, yeah, no, we did that wrong. Spain deserved to be in. They're doing all right. Canada meh, says Gary. And Spain are the same. They managed to qualify, I believe, first in their group, so they should have been automatically through, in my opinion. It's a credible country the size of Samoa and is facing up against one size of the USA, says Fleshin. And they certainly always punch above their weight here, the Samoans. They have managed to take that ball back, and they have got a man disadvantage at the moment. They're looking for the wide cutout pass, and it's a drop ball from Va'a Pilomaleko. If USA get themselves one more try from here with 5 minutes remaining, we'll need to Google the new format. Won't ask on here. Seems unfair. South Africa lost 4 games of the drop. We'll Google. So South Africa are fine because they're in the top 8, just to save you a little bit of time. Top 8 were playing off against each other in a separate competition to the sides that are playing here. So there's pretty much the Champions Series and the Challenger Series type thing. Now scrum again for the US, all using up a little bit more time. Like I mentioned, one more try here for the US. Probably put the final nail in the coffin for the Samoans. Kevin Williams running on the short side. That is going to be a high tackle from the Samoans. The advantage in favour of the USA now. Biza puts the ball on the outside to Lucas Camp. Passed on the inside to Baker, and they'll go right back for that original penalty, says Adam Leal. They were still making ground, though, when they were going for their backline. I'm not too sure what the go was there from the referee, but it has certainly helped out the USA as they are now going to be only 2 metres out from the line. Aaron Cummings, short ball to Thomasine. USA are through again, and it's another try now for the Eagles. 3.5 minutes now left. 3 tries in Madrid. But Thomasine with a good short ball to Biza. He gets his second try of the contest. And a very incredibly crucial try for the USA here. I would say that they have now secured their spot. Samoa are going to be relegated to the Challenger Series. This new format of Sevens just seems to be badly thought out. Bit of a money grab, says Fleshin. Yeah, I don't understand it, to be honest. Like, we've been covering the Sevens since the last Olympics, and the format was not broken. They didn't have to fix it, but they have changed it. Kenya were the side that probably felt it the hardest when they cut out the original 16 teams, cutting it down to 12. Like, Kenya were a side that everyone wants to see on the circuit because they brought such passion and they brought that physicality and just the love of Sevens. When you think of Sevens, you think of Fiji, you think of, you know, the Kenyans and those type of sides who have created new styles of rugby. That's a counteract from the USA. Another penalty goes their way. Oh, we have got there the gifted one membership from Robert. And there's Samoa's pretty much the face of Sevens. Such a shame. Yeah, it's going to be a brutal one in this scenario. And they might not be the only big side that miss out. You look at someone like Spain, how far they've come. You know, you look at their victories over New Zealand, South Africa, like Australia, top sides on the circuit. And now they might be back down to playing low. And this is why I haven't watched any rugby this year. There's Chris Seo. And also they had the best dance try celebrations. The African countries know how to bring the energy. Says Gary. Looks like. There we go. They've just said there, USA and Samoa have played on the Sevens series since the inaugural competition in 1999-2000. So they joined the competition with every other side when I was pretty much born. And this is going to be now the first year that they're away. USA have scored again, but at this point, it's a hard one, isn't it? I just feel bad. Like, these two sides, the format screwed them. And plus some teams like Kenya are in the Olympics but didn't play the season, just so unfair for me. Says Pixie Dust and Kenya were done dirty. Are they gone pro with the Sevens? Or they've gone pro with their Sevens. And yeah, like you look at their team now, they're missing some of their players because they had to go elsewhere for the sake of being able to still have a career in rugby. Like the Challenger Series, don't get me wrong, it's got a bit of a following. We can't actually watch it here in New Zealand, so that's going to be a bit unfortunate, but yeah, you can see the disappointment on the face of Pilomaliko. That kick has gone over. And now that is going to make the score currently 40 points to 14. I mean, my prediction was 33 points to 5 in favour of the USA. And we're not a mile off that. It's very uncomfortable watching this. Yeah, it's... I'll be honest. In terms of, like, my least favourite game of rugby to watch, when you know one of these two sides is losing everything, it doesn't make it very fun. You know, normally knockout rugby, right? That's supposed to be bringing the excitement. You're supposed to be happy for the side who are in the lead. And I have to say there's a lot of smiling faces for the USA. But even the USA supporters have almost got a bit of a silence about them because of the fact that they know their success is leading to another side's, I guess, misfortune. And USA going through, says Blues Nate. And now that one is going to be well claimed by Va'a Pilomaliko. Going to the left-hand side. Like they've said, Samoa are going to have to wait a whole year to try and get back onto this series now. They've still got the Olympics though, so I do hope they do well throughout it. USA, it looks like they've got one more try in their tank. They have been the best side throughout the playoff games or the group stage of this one, so it is fair for them to go through. It looks like there's going to be one last try here for the Samoans. If they can break through, here goes Va'a Apelo Maliko for the last time on the regular season circuit. Samoa have scored a try, at least for now. And Fiji, Samoa, New Zealand and South Africa were great at one point and competitive. Such a pity. Well, that's the thing. Samoa just having a poor year, you know. Like last year, they finished top of their pool, I believe, 6 times out of about the 10 legs. So, you know, they were doing extremely well in that regard. But that one is going to be the try. Samoa move up to 19. It's a nice moment between Byes and Va'a-Apelo Maliko at the end of the game. After he scored the try, got a massive hug from the young USA player. They didn't want to be the side that had to do it, USA, but unfortunately with the format, they have been forced to. And they will be on the circuit. They're not even happy, though, the USA. You can see the disappointment on their faces for Samoa. They have played these sides, like these two sides have played for 24 years up against each other. What's the next game after this? It's going to be Kenya versus Germany. So that's an exciting game. At least one of those two sides is going to make their way back onto the circuit. So that is some sort of positive. But yeah, we're going to see here. Kevon Williams just saying there, it's bittersweet because they've become good friends with the Samoan boys. And he said that it's a bit heartbreaking that they won't be there next year to be alongside them. It's like watching the end of the comrades and seeing people not make it to the finish line in time. Says Pixie Dust. But yeah, next game just around the corner. We're going to have to try and brighten the mood because it's going to be Germany versus Kenya, ladies and gentlemen. So we're down to one Pacific team in the top 7s. That is correct. Nonetheless, do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, which I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, I guess leave a like, subscribe. We're going to hopefully be able to cover the games for the Samoans in the Challenger Series. Yes, this is rough. Says Fleshin. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. And we will see you all for the next one.